Granblue Fantasy Versus might be known as one of the easiest fighting games, but there's still a wide variety and diversity in cast. In this video, we're going to go over each of the characters, kind of give you a character overview, and talk about the general game plans and figure out who the easiest and hardest characters are in the game. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The characters at the top of the list are the easiest to play, and at the bottom are the hardest. And we'll go straight into order of this tier list, and we'll start with the protagonist, Gran. Both Gran and Djeeta are really straightforward. Gran being the character that comes with the free version of the game for good reason. He's one of the most simple characters in the game. Most characters have 4 special moves and a lot of iterations off of them. Gran and Djeeta only have 3 special moves. And they're both very Shoto-like, which means that they have a fireball, they have a DP, and their goal is just to kind of control neutral. Now, Gran, he's a little bit more aggressive of the two. He has this move Boot, which is really good. You can just kind of throw it out, get a combo on hit, and even on block, it can still be your turn, or at least you're usually safe. And same thing with EX Boot. This move is insanely good, insanely fast, and you get a full combo in the corner, so you can just kind of abuse that. Where Djeeta, on the other hand, has a chargeable fireball, which means that you can kind of play the zoning game a little bit more, and you can set up these charged fireballs, and once you get them to like respect it, you can throw a fireball, run in, and then start your offense. The other good thing Djeeta has is this EX Rekka. This is like a very safe move to kind of just throw out, and I think really safe moves like this that lead into a full combo are really good for beginner players, and especially Djeeta's EX Rekka because it leads into a full combo in the corner. So I would definitely recommend either of these characters to beginners. So we'll put both these characters in Fisher Price tier. Now you might be wondering, every character has like an easy use on this list. Why make this video, right? And I think for a few reasons, obviously to kind of describe the characters and give you reason as to why they're ease of use. Also, I don't agree with some of their rankings. Like for example, they have no character that's the hardest used in the game. Kind of weird to me. There's no 1-star easy to use character. All right, so let's start with the next two, Katalina and Charlota. So Katalina is very similar to Gran and Djeeta. The main difference she has is she has a little bit more neutral control. Specifically, her pokes are longer, so these moves are really, really good, and they can lead into damage. And these kind of like stab moves are just kind of like really good for controlling space. They don't lead into much. You don't really get to like pressure them afterwards, but they're just good to like throw around. So just a longer range Gran and Djeeta. Now, Charlota is, if you've ever played like May in Guilty Gear, she's kind of like that function. This character, in my opinion, is one of the best scrub killers in the game. Her jump is extremely obnoxious to deal with. Compared to other characters, her jump is faster, it's lower to the ground. She has this move, Blanca Ball. It's only -2, which means that you can kind of like just keep doing this, and it's really hard for the opponent to stop. And then she has a full screen version, which is the EX. This move is insanely good. It's safe, which means you can just throw it out, and if they ever get hit, you just run in and start your turn. Charlota also has a couple other things going for her. She has a DP that's actually pretty hard to punish. It's not like super minus like a lot of other DPs. She also has kind of this flip move, which is really good. Basically, it's like a canned mix-up. You can do an overhead, and if they start blocking the overhead, you can do that and be plus, or you can do that and throw, and then you get the full. I thought you got a combo from this throw. Did I take that away? Oh yeah, you got a combo from the throw. So yeah, she's really good. If you want to play an aggressive character that has safe ways to get in, I think Charlota is definitely for you. All right, so I'm gonna move all these characters to Fisher Price tier. Now, I know this looks bad, but trust me, the characters get harder. All right, so think of Lance as like the ninja type kind of character in this game. He's really fast. He has like fast fall. He has a command dash that you can do a bunch of different ways. He has like a special like that kind of warps him into the air. You have different follow-ups from it. Very mobile character. He also has a fireball that you can throw behind and just run in. The EX version even more so. So basically, like, this character wants to skip neutral any way possible and make you guess, right? He doesn't have that great of mix-up tools, but he's really good at getting in. Another move that makes him really good to get in is his forward special. This move is barely minus, and if this hits, you just kind of go in and start your turn. Very aggressive rushdown character oriented. Just because he has like some trickery, I don't think this character is quite as easy as some of the other characters we listed before. Now, Percival, I think historically he's been very, very strong in the previous versions of Granblue. Obviously, this is a new game. We don't know the character strength yet, but he's on a little harder side. You do have mechanic stocks. You do have to manage the stocks a little bit differently, and these stocks let him power up his moves. Right, so they can enhance his fireball so it goes full screen. They can make some of his moves do more damage. So keeping track of stocks and, you know, doing the right combo when you have the right amount of stocks, it does take a little bit more work than some other characters, but he makes up for it in a number of different ways, especially his pokes. Now, he has some of the most outrageous buttons in the game, like this move, which is cancelable, and you can just like really pester people. So while he's a little less straightforward to play, he still has very obvious tools to help carry him. And also Percival can do this. So I would put I'm gonna put them in monkey tier for now. I don't think either of them are crazy hard. I would still recommend them to beginners, but they do take a little bit more work than the ones above. All right, Ladiva. All right, so Ladiva's interesting. She's kind of like the grappler of the game. Think your Zangief. She has like one of the best command grabs. This thing is insane. You don't get a safe jump anymore, but you still can get like plus frames after and do really good mix. And anytime she makes you guess, it's like a 50-50 on top of a 50-50, right? So she can do this move in case you're jumping. And this move is also plus, which means you can do a command grab or you can continue the headbutt string. So basically, like once she gets in, you're in a world of hurt, right? But this character has trouble getting in. Obviously, the character is a little on the slower side, and I think especially of how many strong zoners there are in this game, I think she's a little bit on the harder side. But again, grapplers aren't too hard to play, or combos aren't too hard. She also has lariat to get in, but if they're crouching, it just whiffs and you get punished. So it definitely takes a little bit more finesse to play with this character. I think she's in like the middle of the pack. Metera's kind of the same way. She's more of a pure dedicated zoner. You can definitely scrub out a lot of people, just kind of like throw in the two fireballs, right? She has two fireballs. You can have them both on screen at the same time. She also has a hop that's extremely annoying for beginner characters to deal with. You can't anti-air this on reaction, but it is very tough. And obviously, she can like alter her trajectory. She can throw arrows and like bait out your anti-air. She has a lot of cool different things. So think of a zoner that once she gets you to look out for the zoning stuff, she just jumps in and starts to mix your shit, right? Her other moves is butterfly. She basically shoots the butterfly, and it's used for zoning, but it's also gonna be used for like lockdown. And when they block the butterfly, you can, hop in and then go for strike throw. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this character. So I think both these characters are kind of like, we'll say, Neither of them are technically demanding, but Metera takes a lot of creativity, and I think Ladiva struggles a bit with zoning, so it can be kind of hard to work through. All right, so Lane's kind of like, I'm gonna call him like the joke character of the game. A lot of his intros are kind of memey. He has like some really funny moves, like the Katalina bot. He has a move that does get some food or get some meter and health. He also has the very well-known Yigi super, which if you want to scrub people out of this character, and if you want to like literally spend 5 minutes and like beat your friends, play Lowain and just keep doing this. But at a higher level, like people can deal with that really, really easily. You have a lot of different things to manage. You have to like do, how I say, like cute little set play stuff like this. These bros can get destroyed by zoning, so you have to know a variety of different matchups. He also has some good gimmicks, like this counter is a low. It ends up being a low. The thing about Lowain is he has a lot of different tools to use for different situations, but nothing like overly hard. All right, so now Ferry I think is on the harder side. She is a set play monster. She has this move called Gigi, which she throws out and then activates. And the cool thing about this is you can basically go high-low, right? So she has this move, it's an overhead, it hits that, and then you can kind of do set play on top of that, right? She also has really, really long range. All right, so you can just kind of like pester the opponents with these. I think overall this character is quite good in this version, but at the same time you have to know the setups with her. You have to know like certain spacing. Like her dive kick's quite good, but you have to know how to space it and like know how to convert off of it. But overall, if you're looking for like a longer range character, Ferry might be for you. I think I'm gonna put Lowain here. Ferry, I feel like they made her easier this version, but there's still like a lot of setups you need to learn. I think she's on the hard end of the cast, so I'm gonna put Ferry and work in 9 to 5. just because like she doesn't have like your standard gameplay that a lot of the other characters have, because your pokes are long range whips. She also has an install. That's a good point. Unlike the Yigi install, like her install is actually really good. It lets you chain stuff. Like you can do this and like convert off your overhead and like all this cool stuff. But yeah, you actually have to learn that. All right, now Zeta's interesting. Think of her as kind of like a Shoto, but a little bit unique, right? So she has a fireball, certain moves that are pretty good for utility, like this spear thrust. It's kind of like Katalina's thrust, but it also has a follow-up and can be really obnoxious to deal with. She also has a counter, so she doesn't have a true DP. I think DPs are really good for beginner players because you can kind of just bust out of things, where her counter is a little less intuitive to use because it has a few different follow-ups. But overall, like her gameplay is still very Shoto-like. I think she's definitely on the easy end of the cast. And she has a lot better mix-up than like Gran and Djeeta, so she can do like this sort of thing. And so she can go overhead, she can go overhead, she can go overhead low, she can go empty low. There's a lot of cute little mix-ups that she can do that still work pretty well at high level. Now Vaseraga is your other big body grappler, right? He's a command, he has a really good command grab, but he has a lot of other things going for him, right? He has this armor up move, and when you do this, you have this little icon that basically means your next couple different specials, like this tackle, have armor, and then you can use that to get in. So unlike Ladiva, it's really hard to zone Vaseraga out, because if you just back away, you do this and then you can get in. So because of that, I think he's a little bit easier for beginners to pick up. But at the same time, he still has a stance. It's basically like a walk, and then you have like 4 different follow-ups from it, so which might take a little bit extra getting used to. I say Zeta's in monkey tier. Again, very straightforward game plan. You have to use more options than like Gran and Djeeta. And Vaseraga, I'll put Vaseraga probably easier than Ladiva, but I think still harder than some of these characters because the gameplay is less obvious. I think slow characters in general just take a little bit to get used to. All right, so Narmaya is, I think, one of the hardest characters. One of the things that makes her really hard is she has 2 sets of specials. So when you press the U button, you see how the icons change. So she has 8 specials to learn, and you have to very commonly rotate in between what they call the 2 stances, right? You see how she like holds the sword differently. So for example, I do this combo, I switch to this stance, and now I have like different cooldowns to use, right? So you have to keep track of what stance you are, what cooldowns to use. But other than that, she kind of plays like a Shoto, right? She has a pretty good fireball, DP. She has a couple other moves like a command dash. And the other stance, she has this move, which is insanely good. I assume this is still plus. Yeah, so this is plus. So she has like really good mix up in this stance. But overall, because she has to switch stances and keep track of, she's definitely one of the hardest in the game. Now, Soriz, think of Soriz as like a Balrog. You basically just keep doing this move and rushing them down. And then when they're not looking for it, you sneak in this move. That's like a plus on block punch. And then you can like kind of take your turn. He's very gorilla, very unga, but he's very one-dimensional, right? You basically just keep punching them and keep frame trapping. If that doesn't work, then you're kind of screwed, right? You don't have a fireball, you don't have a DP. You do have some reversals. Obviously, you have this armor move, but it's a lot harder to use. You have to only use it in certain situations. But yeah, overall, he's pretty easy. You just keep punching. So we'll put Soriz. I thought Soriz definitely monkey. I think he's pretty easy because literally you just keep throwing punches. And Narmaya, I think Narmaya's definitely on the harder end. I'll put her working overtime for now, just because we need to fill that part out of the tier list out. I think Narmaya is definitely harder than Ferry. All right, so Zooey, this is the character I mained in Granblue Versus for most of it, and I think she's probably in the middle, right? So she has a lot going for her. She has this dragon meter, and the dragon can do like different specials, but obviously all these specials use up the dragon meter, and when you're out of dragon meter now, you can't do any of the dragon specials, and you're really weakened. You don't ever want to run out of dragon meter, right? So that you have to manage that. And obviously there's ways to charge it, like your 5U just charges this, and the rest of your specials are pretty just good kit. Like this is an easy get in move. This is a scrub killer. You just want to throw this in your plus, you get combo and hit. Very good move, but it can be anti-aired by good players. And you have lightning. Lightning is good for like you can control space, and then you can charge, and then that comes down. She also has one of the best ultimate skills in my opinion. So this move is extremely fast and completely refills your dragon meter. Use the dragon meter to get in, right? They get hit by that. Now it's like, all right, time to guess asshole, right? Anyways, Cagliostro, think of her as like the trap zoner of the cast. She has low trap, overhead trap, and then if they fall into the trap, they get hit, and you get a full combo. She also has moves that kind of help her zone, and so you can like push them into the trap. You do that, and then right, you can get a combo. Not that you get way better combo, but some of her conversions can be pretty tricky. Some of the characters that can just fly by the traps can be a little tough to deal with. But you also have really good rushdown with this character as well. So like her corner pressure doing shit like this into trap, very obnoxious to deal with, as you can see. And then you get, you know, conversions off of it. This teleport's really, really good. Really obnoxious for newer players to deal with, because you can just kind of teleport around, come with a jump normal, and then go for strike throw. So overall, I think Cagliostro and Zooey are kind of in the similar sphere, where they both have a unique toolkit that takes a lot of use, but they're both quite good and they're quite versatile for a lot of different situations. So I'll put them both around here. All right, so Yuel and Anre, I think these are both two of the harder characters. So Yuel is... You can play her a couple different ways. So Grimnir, one of the best players in the world, has used Yuel and used her a lot, and basically plays a dumbed down version of Yuel, where Yuel has the stance. You have a bunch of different follow-ups. It's really good for rushdown, and Grimnir just doesn't use the stance, even though it's really good. It complicates the character, and he likes to play very basic characters, right? But the character does have some very basic things going for it. This 5M is insanely good, and you can like get a full combo from it. You have 2 reversals, which is 2 more than some characters. You have a DP, and you also have a backflip that gains invincibility. Both insanely good moves, and it makes pressuring Yuel really hard. So if you're someone that struggles with a lot of rushdown, and you want someone that has a little bit more mobility and a little bit like more technicality with the stance, I think Yuel's a really good pick for you. Now Anre is like another traditional zoner. He has these moves are insanely good. They're really good for like beating other fireballs, because 1, it'll just eat the fireball, but 2, it does a lot of damage on hit, right? You get that little pop-up, and they take good damage, and you obviously have like the EX version is just really good. Even the ultimate skill, in general, that move kind of makes the character, right? And he has some other things. He has a counter. He has this kind of like sword swing move that he has different follow-ups from. But his rushdown tools aren't the best. So he has some tools for getting in. He has that. He has like this like dive kick move. His offense is probably some of the weaker in the game. Excels in neutral between the fireball. This move, 5H, is insanely good. It's a forward advancing double hit move, which means you can hit confirm it, and it's cancelable as well. So it's just really, really good. So if you want a character that kind of maxes out all its stats in neutral while also having like decent defense, Anre is for you. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Anre is the perfect character if you hate fun. All right, so I'm gonna put Yuel and Anre here too. I feel like we need to start spraying out the A tier. All right, you know what? We'll just combine this tier. All right, so Eustace, I actually think Eustace is one of the harder characters in the game. So he's another pure zoner, but he has a little bit worse zoning, but a little better rushdown than Anre. He has some good moves for zoning and to beat other zoners. He has this charged fireball that goes through other fireballs. He has this fireball that can also be charged to get plus frames and kind of like move in. He has a grenade. He has a few different types of grenade, but where it shines is this EX grenade, where you kind of like apply a sticky to them, and then certain moves like give you a follow-up on the EX grenade. Yeah, so you can use the bomb to like basically extend your combos. He also has a run that has different follow-ups to it. You have a sweep. You have a kind of like a DP move that can anti-air. You have kind of like a safe frame trap move, and you have this move that has like invincibility. So he has a lot of trickery to him. Basically, think of a zoner, but then like when the zoner goes in, you can do like cool strike throws with like this stuff. Oh yeah, you can also stop it with a guard, so you can do like stuff like this and then throw. Really, really cool character, but is very lacking on defense. You don't have an invincible reversal outside of your 50-meter reversal. And he's not the fastest character either. So overall, I think he's working pretty hard. He also has this move, which I think is like insanely funny. He just like covers the whole screen. Seox is a... All right, I'm not gonna lie. I hate this character. I think this character is scrubby as hell. I've always thought that since his characters came out, and he's been like top tier ever since. He's insanely fast in a game where being fast is really good because 6XL is plus frames. Some of the best neutral skips in the game. He has EX Fireball. You just jump, throw it out, baits anti-air, and then you just go in. Like you just cancel any move from this and then continue to get... Wait, can you not combo from this anymore? Oh, never mind. I'm just bad at timing it. I got my hopes up for a little bit. But yeah, free, free turn on block. This move, insanely good anti-zoning, goes through fireballs, and you can fake it out like that. This ultimate skill, which I don't know what they were cooking, has invincibility. You get a full combo. Has to be one of the best ultimate skills in the game. You have one of the most obnoxious counters to deal with because, again, Seox offense is really good, and if you get hit by this counter, you have to take a mix-up. And also his offense is really good because this Rekka has a bunch of different follow-ups that you can kind of like mix up with, right? You can frame trap. You have like basically like you have to study how to beat Rekka on block. There's not one answer that beats everything. So as you can tell, I do not like the character. I think he's really, really good, but he does take a little bit of work. Maybe I'll put him at the end of Fisher Price tier. Eustace, I think, is working, not because he's bad. I think all three. I actually think Ferry is insane. I think Eustace is good. Just the amount of tools that Eustace has to do, and some characters that can get around zoning pretty easily, like Seox, are really hard to deal with. All right, so Vira and Beelzebub, these are both like very strong, very basic characters to use. Vira's kind of like gives me Shoto vibes because you do have a DP, but you don't like have a traditional fireball. You have this move that's like you just kind of throw it out, and then you can use this to get in. Yeah, you have this insane that any characters with these like long-reaching dash M's are really good, and this is probably one of the best ones. You obviously can mix up with that. That's plus. And you have like some really good moves just to like kind of like mix up and steal your turn. So this, for example, is plus on block, which means that you can continue your pressure. If you just block her out, well, she has a command grab that activates her install, and then you can do like really cute things at install. Yeah, so you have like you get an air dash now. You get, yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff with her. So she has a little bit of complexity, but her game plan is very straightforward, right? Rush them down with like some really, really good moves, activate install, and then just kind of go ham because your damage is really, really good install. Beelzebub, he has a lot more space control for him. So he has a couple different fireballs. You can charge these fireballs up, makes him really hard to approach. He also has like some pretty long reaching moves like this. He also has a low version of this move that's kind of obnoxious to deal with as well. But he has a couple very scrubby things, right? One is this EX dive. This EX dive is plus. It's very hard to anti-air, and so it basically means you get strike throw after. The other thing is this move, his down special. You basically just suck him in, and you're free plus frames, right? They can dodge and they can beat it, but it's really hard to react to. And you have different versions, like you see how that's delayed. So there's not like a good answer to beat all of them unless you have something invincible. One of the best scrub killer moves in the game, in my opinion, which is this ultimate skill. That's unblockable. So if you don't dodge this on reaction, which no new player is gonna do, free damage. All right, so I actually think very highly about Vira and Beelzebub. I think Vira probably like at the beginning of monkey tier, she's really good, but at least you have certain things you have to do, right? You have an install that other characters in Fisher Price tier don't have. Beelzebub, I think, is also monkey, but a little bit on the harder end, especially if you fight characters that can shut down your more gimmicky stuff. Yeah, you have to avoid the suck. All right, so you might be thinking Belial and Avatar Belial, they have to be pretty similar. And like, even though they look pretty similar, they're completely different characters. They play completely different. Belial is more of a traditional zoner, right? You have this fireball. It has a few different follow-ups to it. So you can like change your trajectory. Use this to get free plus frames. Or like just control space, right? One of the best fireballs in the game, just because it's so versatile. You have so many different things you can do from it. Also have an upward version, EX version. It's just a very, very good move. But he also has some other things that make him quite strong as well, or insanely like good buttons. So he has this 5H, which basically leads into a full combo. Safe on block. It's just a very good move to throw out, very, very safe. He has this crouching light, which is one of the only plus mediums in the game, which means you can like just keep doing this and like be very, very obnoxious, and then start to steal turns with like the fireball. So his rushdown is really, really good. And then once you get them like kind of respect your pressure, you have a couple of different moves to kind of like steal turns. So you have this move, and you also have a command grab. They give this character command grab too. Now I think both of those are reactable, but because this character has so much to look out for, yeah, I think he's quite good. I think he's gonna be top tier. Like I know this is like easy use tier list, but just my gut impression is I think Belial's top tier. Not to mention all the tools he has and the fact that he's been top tier, but he has this unblockable loop. So that moves a guard crush, so if you block that, it means the next hit's guaranteed. And then you can just, yeah, very, very obnoxious mix up to deal with on top of everything else this character has. So I think Belial's kind of like Vira, where it's like they're insanely good, but I think Belial takes a little bit more work. You don't have the easy neutral skip like Seox does. Definitely a main character. So Avatar Belial, he's way different than regular Belial. One, he kind of like lost his regular Belial's good normals, so that's no longer plus. He doesn't have that godlike 5H that Belial does. He also doesn't have any of the specials, so instead of the fireball, he kind of gets like this iteration, which I don't think is quite as good. But in return, he gets some really interesting mix-up tools, right? He has this kind of fly that he can do at different heights, and he can do different follows from. You know, he can like make you guess. He has like these plus unblock follow-ups to some of his fireballs that you can use. You can also like frame trap. But the bad thing is, if you look at Avatar Belial's health bar, a lot of this stuff uses his health, so you have to be very careful. And if you drop a combo with this character, you're gonna be screwed because you probably wasted a bunch of health to do that combo. So I think Avatar Belial is definitely one of the harder working characters for sure. All right, now it's so funny that we have Anila and Siegfried. These are both new characters to Rising, and they're two of the easiest characters that have ever put in a fighting game. It's actually insane. They have Fisher Price vibes all over. So let's talk about Anila first. Think of basically Charlota. Like they somehow made Charlota easier, right? You have a flip with multiple follow-ups. Yeah, you don't even have to worry about that. This flip, you just do a jump in, right? This is how you play Anila. All right, you figure out the character. Just keep doing that. Very similar to Charlota, but you also have a fireball. EX fireball, you can just kind of run behind, and ultimate skill fireball. This move is insanely brain dead. You just run behind. I didn't even do that right. But yeah, you see, like just free plus frames, free get in from neutral, refund some of your bar. Very, very good move. Also, you have a DP. DPs are very good in this game. Siegfried, very similar. You know, you have your DP, you have your fireball. So very show-like, but you also get some additional tools, and you get this stance, which basically you just do the stance, do a random follow-up from it, and you're not going to go wrong. You have a command grab, so they can't just block, and if they want to jump, you know, you have different follow-ups to hit them out. All right, you've already learned how to play Siegfried. That's literally all you have to do with the character. Siegfried probably has one of the most obnoxious dash normals. Kind of like Vira, this dash low hits from like half screen. Not sure what they're thinking when they gave that character that. He has like a power up that takes some of his health but gives him more damage. You don't even need to use that to win, but you know, some of his combos you can use that mid combo and kind of cook with him. Both these characters definitely 100% Fisher Price. I don't know, I'll put him somewhere around here. I think honestly, like it's probably like I'll put Gran because he's a protagonist, but these two are like 100% some of the easiest characters that have ever been put in any fighting game. All right, so Grimnir, he has this like fireball. It's pretty good. But the main thing that distinguishes him between other characters, he can put seals on the screen, kind of like Answer from Guilty Gear Xrd, and he can use the seals to kind of like do this like little dash forward, right? He can also like hop to the seal, and there's a lot of like cool things you can do mobility wise to like bait out anti-airs. I think he's a little tricky. He also has some really cool setups you can do with these two, like instant overheads and stuff. But it's not like the most straightforward game plan, and you really have to like finesse with this character, right? You don't have anything like very obviously abusable. You think this character that's like 8 foot would have like a crazy normal, like, but not, well, I don't know. He just like shows off a little bit before he does this normal. Not quite there what they were thinking there. Even this normal is crazy, but it's still like just a decent anti, right? Because like, no, you're not gonna do this when they're like off the screen. But overall, I think the character is like very, very tricky and not very straightforward to play. He's also like one of the brand new characters, so we don't know how good they're gonna be. But I don't think the gameplay is super obvious. And speaking of brand new characters, Nier is the other super brand new character to this. Wasn't in any other betas. I think Nier by far is the hardest character in the game. She just has the potential. So basically Nier has this like little summon, you throw her out, and all the summons kind of chain. You see that she has like a 12 there. Basically anytime you cancel one move into another, you use up a heart meter. And when you're out of heart, you lose your summon for 20 seconds and you basically lost the game. She has really cool stuff she can do. Basically, you get a lot of good set play and a lot of good damage. Yeah, so look at some of the set play. This character's set play has to be some of the best in the game. So like this is just an example Nier combo. You know, set him up for set play, and then oh, you do a throw. Now you get a full combo off your throw. And now you can do cross up overhead and get a full combo off that. You see, there's potential here. There's a lot of potential, but it's very hard. Any puppet character, any game's going to be hard, and I think Nier is no exception. All right, so Nier, I think hardest in the game for sure, and Grimnir, I'm a hot take. I think Grimnir's also quite hard as well. Anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of this list. I think it's pretty even. You know what? I'm gonna move one of them just so we have a perfect square. I'm thinking either Metera or Anre. What do you guys think? Anre, Metera, bro. It's split. It's split down the middle, bro. Cag? I'm not moving Cag down to working 9 to 5. That's insane. Metera hasn't worked a day in his life. That's actually probably true. All right, we'll do a poll. Move who down? All right, we'll say Anre, Metera. I'll put Cagliostro for the 2 Cagliostro down players in chat, and Lowain. All right, let's see who it is. Anyone that votes Cagliostro is getting banned. People about to troll me with Cag, I know. There's already 27 trolls voting on this poll. All right, Metera, fine, Metera it is. All right, now we got a perfect square. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more Granblue content. Definitely want to keep pushing this game. I think it's tons of fun. And if you want to support me and this channel, then consider subscribing. Take care, y'all. Peace.